Hello, this is Tim Law with Playing It Forward Coaching. Always encouraging your self-reliance. If you'll develop a good work ethic, a marketable skill, some people skills, and just be a team player, you'll be amazed what you can accomplish in this country. A big thank you to almost 500 people who have subscribed to this channel, Playing It Forward Coaching. If you haven't already, please do so. I'd very much appreciate it. I have a very special person here with me, somebody I've known for a long time. We always joke back and forth how she's one of my top 10 favorite sister-in-laws, even though I don't have that many. She's married to my brother, Tom, my wonderful and dear sister-in-law, Melody Law, who lives over in Sagertown, Pennsylvania, just above Meadville. So welcome, Melody, and tell us a little bit about your story about overcoming cancer. It's an amazing story.
Okay, thanks, Tim, for asking. It was quite a wild ride. I got out some of my old notes that I had because I was journaling and doing different things during the time of the breast cancer. I was totally shocked when I received the diagnosis. There was absolutely no breast cancer, no history whatsoever in my family. And how I came upon it was one night I was taking a sweatshirt off. And I got my arm stuck in the sleeve. And I was trying to work my arm out of there. My hand went down my right chest wall and I felt a bump. And I thought, wow. So I went back and felt it again. I thought, this is something that I think I definitely need to get checked out. So I went ahead and made a doctor's appointment and the ball started rolling. Got an ultrasound first thing. And it was interesting because on the ultrasound, I could actually see something popping up. It was like there was water rolling and it almost looked like a ball that was popping up through this water. And I had it in my head that there definitely was something there before they told me. And they took a quick look at it right then. And then they came back and said they definitely needed to go in and do a biopsy. So that was set up and had that just a couple days later. And it came back saying that I had an invasive ductal carcinoma. So this was new to me. I had had thyroid cancer 8 years prior. Mm-hmm. So I had gone through cancer, but not really anything quite like this experience. So I got ahead, I got set up for the surgery. It was quite soon, actually. And your mind is going in so many different directions, especially with breast cancer. And had an absolutely amazing surgeon. I relied so much on my faith through this whole process. I really felt that it wasn't just a coincidence that I got my arm stuck in that sleeve that night. I think that was a God that was brought to my attention, and I acted quickly on it. And the surgeon that I got was, he's a #1 rated surgeon in Erie, Pennsylvania. I was able to get in to see him right away, which was very unusual, high level. And the staff that he had, the people I was able to work with, the questions that I had, just give them a call and they'd answer everything, or they would put me in touch with somebody that could help me. I had a nurse advocate that was there for me, just especially assigned to me. So they moved right ahead, went ahead and had the surgery. One of the things that I thought was interesting was during the surgery, we have in our bodies lymph nodes, and we have sentinel nodes especially. And the doctor explained those to me as being my soldier nodes. Those are they work for us day in and day out to battle different things that come in our bodies. He went ahead and he biopsied 4 of those, and none of them came up with anything, which was a good thing because I could have tested positive for things that they call HER2 and some other variants. And because it all came back negative, I did not have to have chemo. And that actually was one of my biggest fears.
Sure.
And, I went ahead and had a really good recovery from the surgery. I started radiation treatment shortly after. Very, very blessed again to have an amazing cancer facility, probably 10 miles down the road for me. I didn't even have to go back to Erie for the sessions. Had 24 sessions of radiation. And that really was not bad at all. I can definitely say I was tired, and I had a lot of skin changes that were challenging, but I worked through those. I had an amazing friend that she wanted to know how many visits of radiation I needed. I told her it was 24. She showed up after my first treatment with a basket with 24 packages in it.
Wow.
And she said, you know, one each day when you get home. And I can honestly say many of those days, that was the only thing that put a smile on my face, just because I was so tired.
Sure.
And I was just we were trying to get some things established with what was going on with the skin in that area. And I also started a gratitude list. And to me, that probably was one of the best things that I could do, because between being tired, your mind just tends to wander with something like a cancer diagnosis. It brought me back to, gosh, I aimed for 10 things a day, and I had no problem whatsoever being able to come up with 10 good things.
Yeah.
And I highly encourage anybody, it doesn't matter if you have a cancer diagnosis, a health issue, whatever, we all should do a gratitude list every day, because we all have those days where they're just really tough days, but there's always something to be thankful for.
Sure.
So,
Melody, how important is it? I mean, to jump in here, I want to hear the rest of this. How important is it as far as the early diagnosis? I mean, obviously you noticed that, you acted on it quickly. You know, if you could just kind of emphasize that as well, which I know you got yourself involved doing that.
yes, the one thing I was not doing though, I was getting my annual mammograms, no problem. I was not doing self-exam checks. And that was something that I've talked to several people about since then. In fact, our local paper had asked me if I could do an interview with them, which I did. And I made sure that I addressed that with women, you know,
Sure.
Don't skip on. I don't know if I just thought it was a nuisance or didn't have time, whatever, but that was very silly on my part. And you better believe that I do them now. You know, I do it all the time. And, you know, it's, I don't know. I just, there was definitely one quote that I wanted to share that I came upon early on.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
It was a quote that said, you feel like you've become a student and cancer becomes the instructor. It's a teacher that imparts life lessons that go far beyond the sickbed. And I thought, wow, that is so true. You just don't know. There's so many variables when you go into this, but there were a lot of lessons I learned. There were a lot of relationships that I established. I was really lucky to be able to get into a class at the local cancer center with 8 other women, and everybody had breast cancer. That was their diagnosis, and they put us into a program where we got free classes at the Y. We also got classes on nutrition. We had a counselor come in and talk about just emotionally how that affects you and how important it is to stay on top of that. And they had specific counselors, gave us lists of people we could call if we felt like we needed to talk to somebody about the things that we just couldn't either talk to our spouse about, children, family members. And that was wonderful. There were cooking classes, just all kinds of things that they did for us. And friendships that have lasted ever since then.
Sure.
And
what was your what was the reaction of Tom and your daughters, you know, Carrie, Devin, and Allison, and you know, other friends and family?
Everybody was as shocked as I was, because I am a person that tries to take care of herself. I exercise, go to the Y. I try to eat as healthy as I possibly can. If you ask some of my family members, they tell you I'm over the top, but that's just the way I operate. And especially we're concerned because there is a gene which they talk a lot about in the cancer community for breast awareness. It's capital BRACA. And I wanted to be tested. I wanted to pass it on to the girls so they would know. And it was going to be $30 for this gene test. $5 for it. And the cancer center found out it was being put out there that could not afford. I applied for the grant. I had an interview and I received it. I had to go forward and have that testing done. It came back negative. Mm-hmm. So there again is just another blessing that came. And I was really anxious to share that with the girls, a little bit on edge themselves. You just stand back and you say, where does it come from? You know, how does this happen? Especially you can take care of yourself, do the things that we feel like we need to do. But it's been, and I've really enjoyed the opportunities I've had to share just the trip thing and the things that I learned. And I don't look at it as a negative thing at all. And I'm just thankful for each day. Every time a mammogram comes up and I get that done and it comes back negative. Mm-hmm. I'm to the point now where I have to actually have MRIs instead of just a regular mammogram. So I'll continue to do the self-exams and do the other things that I need to do. It was, I think one of the greatest things was that last day after 20 patients with radiation. Maybe a lot of your viewers have seen the shows or whatever. You walk out, that's your day to ring that bell. And that was the greatest feeling, to just rate as hard as I could out. And hopefully, you know, I wouldn't be coming back again for any more treatments, and I haven't. So that's wonderful. It was, I was diagnosed June 15th of 2017. So this June, it will be 5 years. Mm-hmm. And another really big thing with that is 5 years into it, I've been told by my cancer doctor that I'll be able to stop the medication. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
No, great story. And some additional life lessons. You spoke about a couple of those, Melody. What life lessons? Let's say you're talking to, let's say, a teenage girl or a young lady in her, early 20s or so, something like that. What were the life lessons that you pulled from that? I love your gratitude list that you're talking about. I think it's so important. It kicks off, as we say, the endorphins in our mind, which help our immune system. What life lessons would you give, some of these younger people that maybe listen to this?
Well, I think probably number one, it's really important that when they're able to, whatever their age is, I'm not sure what insurance does now, but as soon as that window opens for them to get the mammograms, they definitely need to do that. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't think that they're too young. It can't happen to them, because it can. Mm-hmm. And they definitely need to do the self-exam. I think that probably is the first thing that I would tell them. Make sure that you do self-exams. There are right ways to do them. There's wrong ways to do them. Mm-hmm. So they could even check into that. And maybe some of the takeaways for me also was just don't take life for granted. I think so many of us do that. And it's, we just have so many things available for us compared to many years ago, women that went through this. So take care of yourself, try to be the best self you could be, nourish yourself, with what you eat, try to avoid smoking, different things like that, because there's a lot of proponents that really play a part of this, but it's a very treatable disease. So I don't know, I guess that's what I would say.
Sure. No, that's very good. Any last second thoughts, Melody? This has been fantastic. And, appreciate it very much. Can you stick around for a minute or two when we're done here?
Sure, certainly.
So any last second thoughts here?
Just so thankful for my husband. He walked through a lot of those. I did have dark days, and he was right there beside me. He was able to get me through it. Wonderful family members that I could call it. And eventually I had that group of women right from the cancer center. We all had each other's phone numbers and we could call them.
Yeah.
And so I never felt alone.
Well, since you know your husband and your brother-in-laws, we like to throw a little smack on each other here and there as far as the competitiveness. And I would invite your husband to come on this camera, but we've already determined he didn't clean up real well yet this morning. So anyway, give him
No comment.
what's that now?
No comment.
Give him a big hug and a smooch from yourself and from me. And thanks a lot. Just hang for just a minute, okay?
Yep. Thank you, Tim.